Hey guys, and welcome to Project 944, Episode 4. Well, today, big thing we're going to be talking about is what's next. The engine's out of the car, what are we doing next? And that's actually a kind of an interesting subject we're going to get into. First thing we're going to talk about is kind of what we're going to do with kind of the shell before we do anything. Clean it up, fix a couple of little issues we've got. I'll go into more of that in here in a second. And then once we do that, we will move into what the problems are with the current engine and future plans as to whether I'm fixing the engine, how I'm fixing it, everything like that. So let's get to it. Alright, so here we are looking down in the engine bay. Big things are, first of all, this engine bay is just horribly dirty. I mean, if you look at this thing, I mean, you've got just a bunch of dirt and grime and nastiness, especially over here on this frame rail. Same thing over on this frame rail over here too. Looks like this car in the past had a power steering leak from up here, and I think a lot of that is from that. If you also look closely, you can see power steering line is disconnected from the reservoir. The reason I have that disconnected right now is one of the power steering lines, actually it would be this one right back in here, that goes from the rack back to the reservoir, got nicked by the engine when I was pulling it out. That nicked the rubber part of the line, of course, and ended up draining all my power steering fluid. Now, a lot of people will say, well, it's because you took the engine out wrong, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what, though? It was a 30-plus-year-old line. It's probably about due to be replaced anyway. So I've got the new one, and just basically we got to put it in. Really easy job with the engine out of the car. So we'll be doing that here in a future episode. We'll also be cleaning up the engine bay, making it all look a whole lot nicer. Heck, I might even get in and see if we can't get a little paint over here on this brake booster. As you can see, it looks like it may have had a leak or something in the past and made that pretty bad. Now, inspecting everything else in here, I mean, under here, I've looked at everything else. Everything else is in pretty good shape. One other thing I might take a look at while the car's kind of taken apart is the AC condenser. AC's been not working in this car for, probably close to a year now, and went through and figured out if there is a hole in the condenser, and I'm going to see about what I can do to get that fixed, maybe get my AC back when we're ready to put an engine back in this car. So that's pretty much the plans for the engine bay for the time being, while we're figuring out everything with the engine. So let's go ahead and we'll move over to the engine. I'll show you what all the issues are and what the plans are. Okay, so here we are looking at the engine. We got it on the stand, got it slightly turned to get a better view of everything. As you can see, here's the timing belt cover, bottom of the oil pan, and then up here is intake manifold. Kind of get everybody situated on where we're sitting here. Big oil leaks that I know about are, number one, right here, where the oil pan attaches to the engine. That's been leaking. I think it's been leaking pretty decently. There's also one more. I'm going to move you guys here. Alright, if you look right in there, right up in there, right where that seal is for the crankshaft where it comes out of the front to make the pulley, that appears to be leaking also. So with that being involved, I decided, if I'm going to do this, I want to go ahead and do a complete front end reseal. Basically, all the seals in the front, might as well get them replaced because I'd have to take the timing cover off, take timing belt off, all the pulleys off. Might as well do it anyway. So that's the issue. The two main oil leaks. There are also a couple little areas I would want to fix if we're going to go ahead and fix this. All right. Okay, we are now looking at the back of the engine. Here's the head, the cam box, and then the block of the engine right here. As you can see, there may be a little something going on right here, so I was wanting to replace the cam box seal There's also a seal right here at the back of the cam box I'd want to replace. I was looking into it, and pretty much the cost for all the parts alone was going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $300 or so. Alright, so yeah, like I said before, parts cost alone is going to be about $300, which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that much money. But I came across another big cost item when I was looking into all this. To take the timing belt off is not a big deal, but to put it back on, I had to have a special tool. The tool I found is not a Porsche brand tool. It's one somebody's come up with, same basic design, but it's a whole lot cheaper. That tool alone is still about $160. So between the tool, a couple other little ancillaries and all the parts, I mean, I'm looking at $500 to fix this engine. And that's if I don't go in and change timing belt, water pump, change up the clutch, anything like that. Now, I have not looked too much into the cost for all that, but I'm pretty sure timing belt and water pump together is going to be close to about $200. Clutch, I really don't have an idea on at the moment. The old clutch doesn't look too bad, but it's one of those things, you know, when you got everything out, why not replace it? So again, I'm looking north of $700 to get this engine fixed. So what I'm considering at this point is go ahead and scrapping the idea of fixing the 4-cylinder and go ahead and start saving up for my LS swap. I've done a little looking into what it's going to cost me to do everything, and I figure I could have this car running and driving down the road with an LS motor in it for somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000. Now, that's not going to be everything I want done, but it's going to be all the major components that have to be done. Everything else I can kind of add in later. So it's one of those things I need to do a little more number crunching before I make my final decision. And thankfully, I've got a few more things I can kind of fiddle with, work on, while I decide what to do. I know a lot of people would not want to see me put an LS motor in. It's taking away from the originality of the car, and why not just get a Corvette? And the thing is, I've owned a couple Corvettes. I owned a C4 base model, one with the LT1 engine. I've owned a C5 Z06. Both cars I enjoyed thoroughly. I really did like my Z06, but I got rid of those, get something a little more practical, and now, I mean, I've got this car as kind of a toy and a project, and I figure, you know, if I can put a V8 in it, why not? It's my car, and, you know, if I want to put a V8 in it, I can. While we're also waiting on doing the V8, there are a couple other things I can do with this car too. I've been looking into upgrading the brakes, doing some interior work, maybe changing out steering wheel, stuff like that. Kind of get the car a little more to how I would like to see it, and a little bit more track ready. I know, especially with the V8 in it, the original brakes in this car really aren't going to do as well as I'd like. So we're going to look into some different options. I've already done a little research, seeing that I can do some 4-piston Volvo brakes actually for pretty cheap on the front. Also, obviously Wilwood's a big brand for it, but they're pretty pricey. And I've also looked into possibly doing upgraded brakes from another Porsche, but that's going to be outrageously expensive because I have to run new spindles, new shocks, new everything in the front. So I really don't think that's going to be a cost viable option, especially when there are so many better choices out for a whole lot less money. So just be keeping an eye out here in the future for a couple more videos coming out, replacing that power steering line, cleaning up the engine bay, getting everything ready for either putting that engine back in, doing a swap. As time goes on and I make my decision, I'll be sure to let everybody know. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please comment. If you have any ideas, any advice you can give me, go ahead and give me a comment. Let me know. And if you like the video, give it a like, please. And I'll see you guys next time.